As we age, the decisions we make at the dinner table matter more than ever. For seniors across the United States, choosing the right foods isn't just about flavor or convenience. It's about protecting the heart, maintaining steady energy, reducing inflammation, and supporting a strong immune system. And yet one food group continues to confuse many: vegetables. Yes, vegetables are often hailed as universally healthy, but here's the truth that surprises many older adults. Not all vegetables are created equal when it comes to senior health. In fact, there are a handful of vegetables that seniors should never touch, because instead of helping, they can silently worsen inflammation, spike blood sugar, interfere with medications, or cause digestive trouble. On the other hand, there are also vegetables that seniors absolutely must eat regularly, thanks to their powerful combination of fiber, antioxidants, and age-defying nutrients. This video from NutriHub Bliss dives deep into both sides of the story. The 4 worst vegetables for seniors, those that may do more harm than good, and the 4 best vegetables for senior nutrition that should be part of your weekly routine. If you or someone you love is over the age of 60, this is information you can't afford to ignore. We're not talking about extreme diet changes or cutting out entire food groups, just smarter, senior-friendly vegetable choices that protect your joints, your brain, your blood pressure, and your long-term wellness. So whether you're managing diabetes, high cholesterol, arthritis, or just trying to feel more energetic and mobile every day, stay tuned. Throughout this video, we'll not only name these vegetables, but explain why they're helpful or harmful, specifically for people in their 60s, 70s, and beyond. And of course, we'll share the science behind these recommendations so you know it's not guesswork, but solid nutrition advice tailored for older adults. Let's take the first step together towards smarter senior eating. Because when it comes to vegetables, it's not about eating more, it's about choosing better. The worst vegetable number 1, canned corn, a sweet trap that spikes blood sugar and disrupts digestion. It may come as a surprise, but one of the worst vegetables for seniors is something you'll often find in home-cooked casseroles, summer picnics, and even senior care facilities: canned corn. While corn in its fresh form may offer some fiber and antioxidants, the canned version is a completely different story, especially when it comes to senior nutrition. And yet, so many older adults continue to eat it regularly, unaware of the subtle ways it may be doing more harm than good. Here's the issue. Canned corn is not just a starchy vegetable. It's a processed product loaded with added sugar and sodium, 2 of the biggest dietary enemies for older adults. As we age, our ability to regulate blood sugar becomes more fragile, and many seniors are either managing prediabetes, full-blown diabetes, or insulin resistance. Canned corn has a high glycemic index, meaning it raises blood sugar rapidly, especially when eaten in large portions or paired with other carbohydrates. And when your blood sugar spikes frequently, it doesn't just affect your energy levels, it leads to weight gain around the belly, worsens inflammation, and contributes to long-term cardiovascular issues. Let's not forget digestion. Seniors often deal with slower gut motility and increased sensitivity to certain fibers. Corn, especially in canned form, contains a type of insoluble fiber that can ferment in the gut and cause bloating, gas, or constipation, issues that many older adults already face on a daily basis. Moreover, many canned vegetables, including corn, are packed with preservatives in BPA-lined containers, which may interfere with hormone balance and kidney function over time. And then there's the sodium problem. Just half a cup of canned corn can contain over 300 milligrams of sodium, which may not seem like much until you consider that many older adults are already taking medications for high blood pressure, heart failure, or kidney disease. Excess sodium can cause water retention, raise blood pressure, and increase the strain on an already taxed circulatory system. For a population where every heartbeat counts, this is a vegetable seniors should avoid, or at the very least, treat with caution. Take, for instance, Clementine Nash, a 72-year-old retired art teacher living in Flagstaff, Arizona. For years, Clementine believed she was doing the right thing by replacing fast food with healthier canned options, especially canned corn, which she used in everything from soups to salads. But she couldn't understand why her blood pressure remained high, why her ankles were constantly swollen, or why her energy would crash after lunch. During a routine visit, her dietitian reviewed her food diary and immediately flagged the frequent canned corn. Clementine was stunned. It was just a vegetable, after all. But after replacing canned corn with fresh steamed green beans and roasted zucchini, two vegetables far better suited for senior nutrition, Clementine saw measurable improvements. Her blood pressure stabilized, her bloating reduced, and she even lost 4 pounds over the course of a month without trying. More importantly, she felt less sluggish and more in control of her meals. The worst vegetable number 2, raw cruciferous vegetables, a hidden threat to thyroid health and nutrient absorption. It may sound shocking, especially given their reputation, but certain cruciferous vegetables, when eaten raw, belong on the list of vegetables seniors should avoid, or at least consume with caution. These include raw broccoli, raw kale, raw cauliflower, and raw Brussels sprouts. While they're packed with nutrients, antioxidants, and fiber, they can also quietly interfere with thyroid function, digestion, and nutrient absorption, especially for seniors. Let's start with the science. Cruciferous vegetables contain compounds called goitrogens, which can suppress thyroid function when consumed in large quantities, particularly in raw form. For younger individuals with a robust endocrine system, this may not be an issue, but for seniors, many of whom already experience sluggish thyroid function, slower metabolism, or are on thyroid medications, raw goitrogens can make things worse. They interfere with the body's ability to absorb iodine, a mineral essential for producing thyroid hormones. Without enough active thyroid hormones, older adults may begin to feel more fatigued, gain weight more easily, or even develop depressive symptoms and cold sensitivity. Now add in the digestive issues. Raw cruciferous vegetables are extremely high in insoluble fiber and complex sugars like raffinose, which are harder for the aging gut to break down. This often leads to bloating, gas, and uncomfortable fullness, symptoms many older adults already struggle with due to slowed digestion or underlying gastrointestinal conditions. Cooking these vegetables helps soften their fibers and reduce the impact of these sugars. But when eaten raw, they can be a real challenge to the senior digestive system. And there's more. Some studies suggest that goitrogens in raw cruciferous vegetables can also impair the body's ability to absorb calcium and iron, two minerals that are absolutely vital for seniors. With age, bone density naturally declines and iron absorption becomes more difficult, especially in women over 60. So while raw kale salads and green smoothies may sound trendy and health-conscious, they can backfire if consumed too frequently by older adults without proper preparation or dietary balance. To illustrate just how impactful this can be, meet Wallace Trentham, a 75-year-old jazz pianist from Grand Rapids, Michigan. After reading several health blogs, Wallace decided to go green and replaced his usual breakfast with raw kale and broccoli smoothies. Within 2 months, he began experiencing cold hands and feet, persistent fatigue, and mental fog, symptoms he initially blamed on aging. But blood work showed low thyroid hormone levels and early signs of iron deficiency. When his doctor reviewed his new diet, the culprit was clear: high daily intake of raw goitrogenic vegetables without proper balance or cooking. Once Wallace switched to lightly steaming his vegetables and adding iodine-rich foods like seaweed flakes and eggs into his diet, his symptoms began to improve. His energy came back, his hands warmed up, and his lab results normalized within weeks. He now still enjoys cruciferous vegetables, but always cooked, in moderate portions, and never as a raw replacement for entire meals. The worst vegetable number 3, eggplant, the inflammatory nightshade that can aggravate joint pain in seniors. When most people think of eggplant, they picture a beautiful purple vegetable, often grilled or baked into Mediterranean dishes like ratatouille or eggplant parmesan. But what many older adults don't realize is that eggplant belongs to a group of vegetables called nightshades, which can quietly provoke inflammation and worsen joint discomfort, making it one of the worst vegetables for seniors who struggle with arthritis, gout, or chronic pain. Nightshades, including eggplant, tomatoes, peppers, and white potatoes, contain a natural compound called solanine. While solanine is not dangerous in small amounts for most people, it can exacerbate inflammation in sensitive individuals. And for seniors already dealing with osteoarthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, or joint stiffness, this reaction can intensify pain, cause flare-ups, and reduce mobility, often without any clear explanation. Many people are unaware that the foods on their plate are part of the problem. Eggplant in particular is a frequent trigger because it's often eaten with the skin on, where solanine concentrations are highest. For some older adults, even moderate consumption can lead to increased joint swelling, stiffness, or fatigue, particularly in the hands, knees, and lower back. Let's consider the case of Ramona Delaney, a 70-year-old retired librarian living in Providence, Rhode Island. Ramona had always been proud of her healthy lifestyle. She cooked her own meals, walked daily, and maintained a mostly plant-based diet. But as she entered her 70s, she noticed that her arthritis was worsening, especially after certain meals. Her fingers felt more swollen in the mornings, and her knees ached more after dinner, even though she wasn't doing anything strenuous. After keeping a food journal, Ramona and her rheumatologist discovered a surprising pattern. Her symptoms consistently flared up after dishes containing eggplant, especially her favorite grilled eggplant panini and baked vegetable lasagna. Curious, she eliminated eggplant from her diet for a month, and the results were striking. Her morning stiffness eased, her joint mobility improved, and she even found it easier to fall asleep at night due to reduced discomfort. Eggplant isn't inherently bad, but it is one of the vegetables seniors should avoid or monitor closely if they're living with joint pain. That's because seniors often have more fragile inflammatory systems and reduced tolerance for compounds like solanine, which may not affect younger individuals as noticeably. The worst vegetable number 4, raw spinach, a nutrient paradox that can interfere with medications and mineral absorption. It might seem almost criminal to call spinach one of the worst vegetables for seniors. After all, it's long been seen as a symbol of strength and health. But when it comes to raw spinach, especially for seniors on medication or dealing with calcium or iron deficiencies, this leafy green may be doing more harm than good. It's a perfect example of how a superfood can quickly become a problem food, depending on your body's needs. The problem with raw spinach lies in 2 key compounds, oxalates and vitamin K1. Let's start with oxalates. Spinach is incredibly high in oxalates, natural substances that can bind to minerals like calcium and iron in the digestive tract, making them harder for the body to absorb. For older adults who are already at greater risk for osteoporosis and anemia, this can lead to worsening bone density, fatigue, and even brittle nails or hair loss over time. It's frustrating because you may think you're doing your body good by loading up on salads and green smoothies, when in reality, those nutrients may never be reaching your bloodstream. Even more importantly, raw spinach is extremely high in vitamin K1, a nutrient that plays a critical role in blood clotting. While vitamin K is essential in moderation, it becomes a serious concern for seniors taking blood-thinning medications such as warfarin, Coumadin. These medications work by reducing the body's ability to form clots, and high intake of vitamin K can counteract their effect, potentially putting the individual at risk of blood clots, strokes, or inconsistent INR levels. It's important to note that this risk doesn't apply to all seniors, but for those managing cardiovascular disease or atrial fibrillation, and those on anticoagulants, raw spinach is one of the top vegetables seniors should avoid or consume with strict portion control. Even a seemingly harmless spinach salad can throw off weeks of carefully calibrated blood tests and medication doses. To see how this plays out in real life, meet Neville Rayburn, a 79-year-old retired airplane mechanic living in Bakersfield, California. Neville had been on blood thinners for nearly a decade after a minor stroke, and his doctors were pleased with how stable his condition had been. But recently, his INR levels, used to monitor how well his blood was clotting, started fluctuating wildly. His doctors suspected a medication interaction, but Neville hadn't changed anything. Except for one thing. He had joined a local superfood smoothie club with his granddaughter and had been drinking a green smoothie packed with raw spinach every morning. Once they removed the raw spinach smoothies from his routine, Neville's INR levels returned to normal, and his doctors were relieved. Neville was surprised and a bit disappointed, but he found comfort in lightly sautéed spinach instead, which reduces both the vitamin K concentration and oxalate content. Cooking spinach not only improves mineral bioavailability, but also makes it safer for those on medication. The lesson? Raw spinach is nutrient-rich, yes, but for seniors, it's a complex food that should be treated with care. It's one of those vegetables that looks perfectly healthy on the surface, but underneath can interfere with the very medications that protect your heart and brain. The best vegetable number 1? Beets, a natural powerhouse for circulation, blood pressure, and brain health in seniors. Among all the vegetables seniors must eat, one humble root stands out for its extraordinary ability to support aging bodies: beets. Whether roasted, steamed, or blended into a smoothie, beets offer a powerful nutritional boost that directly supports some of the most pressing health concerns for older adults, namely poor circulation, high blood pressure, cognitive decline, and inflammation. So, what makes beets one of the best vegetables for seniors? First, beets are rich in natural compounds called nitrates. Once consumed, nitrates convert into nitric oxide in the body, a molecule that helps relax and dilate blood vessels, improving blood flow and lowering blood pressure. For seniors, whose arteries often stiffen with age, this effect is especially beneficial. A daily dose of beets or beet juice can significantly improve vascular flexibility and help reduce the workload on the heart. Several studies have shown that older adults who consume beets regularly experience measurable drops in systolic blood pressure, which can lower the risk of stroke and heart attack. Beets also offer potent anti-inflammatory properties thanks to compounds like beta-alanes and phytonutrients that combat oxidative stress. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the silent drivers of nearly every age-related disease, from joint pain and diabetes to heart disease and cognitive decline. Incorporating anti-inflammatory vegetables like beets into your diet can help modulate this internal damage and support long-term resilience. But the benefits don't stop at the heart. Beets also support brain health, another area of concern for many seniors. Improved blood flow, especially to the frontal lobe, the part of the brain responsible for memory, decision-making, and focus, has been observed in seniors who consume beets regularly. One study from Wake Forest University even found that drinking beet juice before exercise enhanced brain connectivity in older adults, making it an ideal vegetable for those looking to stay mentally sharp. Let's take the story of Everett Bix Callahan, an 82-year-old retired jazz record producer from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. After experiencing bouts of dizziness and forgetfulness, Bix visited his doctor and learned he had stage 1 hypertension and early signs of cognitive decline. Determined to stay independent and energetic, He began walking daily and swapped his morning toast for a beet smoothie with ginger, lemon, and a touch of honey. At first, he was skeptical. He'd never even liked beets. But within a month, he noticed better energy, fewer dizzy spells, and improved concentration while reading or organizing his music collection. 3 months later, his blood pressure had dropped by 12 points, and his memory tests had stabilized. His doctor encouraged him to keep it up, and Bix now calls his beet smoothie his morning concert. Another often overlooked benefit of beets is their fiber content, which supports digestive health, an area that often becomes more sluggish with age. Beets help promote regularity, ease mild constipation, and nourish healthy gut bacteria, which in turn supports immune function and nutrient absorption. The best vegetable too, bok choy, a bone-boosting, immune-lifting green that's perfect for seniors. Among the many green vegetables available to older adults, bok choy often flies under the radar. But if you're looking for a leafy green that delivers an exceptional mix of calcium, magnesium, potassium, vitamin C, and vitamin K, all without the common pitfalls of high oxalates or bloating, bok choy is one of the best vegetables for seniors you can add to your plate. Part of the cruciferous vegetable family, bok choy is also known as Chinese cabbage. Its gentle flavor, tender crisp texture, and versatility in soups, stir-fries, or steamed dishes make it easy to enjoy regularly. But what makes bok choy truly special is its unique combination of nutrients that directly support bone strength, immune defense, and cardiovascular health, which are top concerns in senior nutrition. Let's start with bone health, a critical issue for people over 60. As we age, our bones naturally become less dense, and for women post-menopause and men over 70, the risk of osteoporosis climbs sharply. Bok choy offers highly absorbable calcium, a mineral essential for bone formation. Unlike spinach, which contains oxalates that bind to calcium and block its absorption, bok choy is low in oxalates, meaning the calcium it contains is actually usable by the body. That makes it an ideal choice for seniors looking to preserve bone mass or avoid fractures. But calcium doesn't work alone. Bok choy also contains magnesium and vitamin K, both of which help regulate how calcium is stored in the bones and prevent it from calcifying in the arteries. This dual action supports both skeletal strength and heart health, a rare combination in a single vegetable. And then there's the immune system. Bok choy delivers a solid dose of vitamin C, a nutrient that plays a role in white blood cell production and immune response. For older adults whose immune function naturally declines with age, this can help protect against seasonal illnesses and slow-healing infections. Consider the experience of Lenore Hightower, a 76-year-old former music teacher from Spokane, Washington. After recovering from a wrist fracture caused by a minor fall, her doctor warned her that her bone density was decreasing and recommended boosting her calcium intake. Lenore had always disliked the taste of milk and worried about the bloating she felt from dairy. But a registered dietitian introduced her to bok choy. She started adding it to her chicken soup, sautéing it with garlic, and even steaming it as a side with grilled fish. Over time, she not only avoided the digestive discomfort she'd experienced with other greens, but she also began to feel stronger and steadier on her feet. A follow-up DEXA scan showed her bone density had stabilized. Her immune system, too, seemed more resilient. She made it through flu season without catching a cold for the first time in years. The best vegetable number 3? Green peas. A sweet, fiber-rich ally for blood sugar and digestive health. When we think of sweet vegetables, we often think of carrots or corn. But one tiny, unassuming vegetable offers a perfect balance of natural sweetness and dense nutrition, especially for older adults. That vegetable is the green pea, and it absolutely belongs on the list of vegetables seniors must eat on a regular basis. What makes green peas one of the best vegetables for seniors is their powerful combination of soluble and insoluble fiber, plant-based protein, and their remarkable effect on blood sugar control, digestion, and cardiovascular wellness. Let's start with fiber, one of the most under-consumed nutrients among older adults. Green peas deliver an impressive 7 to 9 grams of fiber per cooked cup, far more than most other vegetables. This fiber does more than just help with regularity. It plays a crucial role in balancing blood sugar levels. Soluble fiber slows down digestion, which means that the carbohydrates in peas are absorbed more gradually, helping to prevent spikes in blood glucose. For seniors living with type 2 diabetes, insulin resistance, or metabolic syndrome, this makes green peas a safe, stabilizing food that supports sustained energy without the crash. At the same time, the insoluble fiber in peas acts as a bulking agent for the digestive system, promoting regular bowel movements and reducing constipation, an issue that affects nearly half of adults over the age of 65. Better digestion also means better nutrient absorption, less bloating, and more comfort throughout the day. Beyond fiber, green peas also contain a surprising amount of plant-based protein, about 8 grams per cup, making them an excellent food for maintaining muscle mass in older adults. Loss of muscle, known as sarcopenia, is a common challenge with aging and can lead to weakness, falls, and reduced independence. Adding high-protein vegetables like peas to meals can help seniors stay stronger, longer. Let's look at Fern Broderick, an 80-year-old retired park ranger living in Helena, Montana. Fern had always been an active man, but after a series of minor digestive issues and a new diagnosis of prediabetes, he found himself tired, irregular, and frustrated. He wanted to take charge of his health without relying on restrictive diets or cutting out foods he loved. A nutritionist at his local clinic suggested a few smart swaps, starting with adding green peas to his meals 3 times per week. Fern began tossing peas into his omelets, mixing them into soups, and even blending them into purees for an afternoon snack. Within weeks, he noticed his energy returning, and he was no longer experiencing the mid-afternoon blood sugar crashes. His digestion improved, and he no longer relied on laxatives to stay regular. A follow-up A1C test showed a small but important drop in his blood sugar levels. Fern now calls peas his tiny green protectors. Green peas are also rich in antioxidants, including flavonoids and polyphenols, which reduce inflammation, a major contributor to chronic illness in seniors. They're also a good source of vitamin K, manganese, folate, and vitamin B1, which support heart health, bone strength, and cognitive function. The best vegetable, number 4, Swiss chard, a detoxifying, immune-boosting green that protects eyes and supports aging organs. When it comes to selecting the best vegetables for seniors, few deliver as much across-the-board protection as Swiss chard. Often overlooked in favor of spinach or kale, this colorful leafy green is a nutritional powerhouse, and it deserves a regular spot on every older adult's plate. Swiss chard is not only packed with vitamins A, C, and K, but also rich in magnesium, iron, potassium, and phytonutrients that help support nearly every system in the aging body, from the immune system and liver to vision and blood vessels. It's one of those rare vegetables that seems tailor-made for seniors, especially those concerned with detoxification, immune defense, and age-related vision loss. Let's begin with its powerful role in detoxification and organ support. Swiss chard contains betalains, a group of natural pigments with detoxifying and anti-inflammatory properties. These compounds help the liver process and eliminate toxins more efficiently. For older adults whose organs naturally slow down with age, supporting liver health through nutrition becomes crucial. Swiss chard also offers a gentle diuretic effect, which can assist in reducing fluid retention and supporting kidney function without stressing the system. Next, consider the benefits for immune health. 1 cup of cooked Swiss chard provides over 40% of the recommended daily intake of vitamin C, a key nutrient in supporting white blood cell activity and protecting against respiratory infections. This is particularly important for seniors, whose immune systems may be less responsive and who are more vulnerable to common colds, flu, and other infections. Alongside its vitamin C content, Swiss chard also contains zinc and flavonoids that reinforce immune defenses at the cellular level. But perhaps one of the most unique benefits of Swiss chard for seniors is its role in eye health. With age, the risk of developing conditions such as macular degeneration and cataracts increases significantly. Swiss chard is rich in lutein and zeaxanthin, two carotenoids known to protect the retina from oxidative stress and filter harmful blue light. Including Swiss chard regularly in the diet may help slow the progression of vision decline and support clearer, sharper eyesight well into your 70s and 80s. Take the example of Loretta Mayfield, an 84-year-old retired postal worker from Savannah, Georgia. Loretta had noticed her eyesight becoming blurrier over the past few years, especially when reading. She also dealt with sluggish digestion and recurring colds that took longer to recover from. During a senior wellness class at her local community center, she learned about Swiss chard and its role in supporting detoxification and eye function. Skeptical but curious, she added it to her meals twice a week, once sautéed with garlic and lemon, and another time tossed into lentil soup. Within 2 months, Loretta reported more regular bowel movements, fewer sniffles, and even said her vision felt brighter and less strained after long periods of reading. Her ophthalmologist confirmed her eye pressure had remained stable, and her primary care doctor was pleased with her immune blood markers during her next checkup. As we age, every meal becomes more than just a routine. It becomes an opportunity to protect our health, support our energy, and extend the quality of our lives. And few food groups carry more influence over senior wellness than vegetables. But as we've seen throughout this video, not all vegetables are created equal, especially for seniors. Some, like canned corn, raw cruciferous vegetables, eggplant, and raw spinach, may seem harmless or even healthy, but can quietly work against our efforts, increasing inflammation, spiking blood sugar, interfering with medications, or aggravating chronic conditions. These are the vegetables seniors should avoid. Not forever, perhaps, but certainly with caution and awareness. On the other hand, we've also explored 4 nutritional powerhouses that older adults should welcome into their weekly meals: beets, bok choy, green peas, and Swiss chard. These are the vegetables seniors must eat for better circulation, stronger bones, better digestion, and improved immunity. They're versatile, easy to prepare, and backed by strong science showing their direct benefits for cardiovascular health, blood pressure regulation, brain function, and more. But here's the most important part. Healthy eating after 60 doesn't need to be about strict rules or dramatic overhauls. It's about making smarter choices, one vegetable at a time. You don't need to become a nutrition expert. You just need to start paying attention. Listen to your body, notice how you feel after certain meals, and choose foods that truly support your energy, mobility, and independence. Small steps like swapping canned corn for peas or adding bok choy to your soup can lead to major improvements in how you feel every single day. At NutriHub Bliss, our mission is to help you age not just longer, but better, with clarity, strength, and purpose. So if you found value in today's video, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these vegetables surprised you the most? Which will you be adding or removing from your meals? And don't forget, like this video, subscribe to NutriHub Bliss, and share it with a friend or family member who's also on the journey to healthier aging. We're here for you every step of the way, with trusted advice, real solutions, and the motivation to help you live fully at any age.